Hello everyone, welcome and thank you for coming to today's meeting, and happy Valentine's Day. And I'm in a little bit of hot water right now. I told my wife I was taking her out for a nice dinner for Valentine's, and here we are. So hang in there, dear, the meeting won't last long, and then we'll have a nice meal. Okay. So, now we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance led by our veteran of the board, Jim Simon. So everyone stand, please.
Face the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you all. Okay, and now I'm going to call Mark Vabora to come up and read the 8th annual notice of the meeting and the minutes of the meeting from the 2022 annual meeting.
Notice of the 8th annual membership meeting for ProVision's Partners Cooperative, Marshfield, Wisconsin. It's Tuesday, February 14th, 2023, held at the Eagles Club of Marshfield. Meeting will start at 10:30 with lunch at 11:45. This is your annual meeting for the presentation of the audit report of the business year 2022 to transact any business that may properly come before the board. As in the past, your support and attendance of this meeting is greatly appreciated. Attested, Mark Vabora, Secretary. The minutes from February 15th, 2022 annual membership meeting for ProVision Partners Cooperative. Directors present: David Brill, Chris Like, Steve Sternweiss, Harvey Peterson, Mark Vabora, Tony Lean, Bruce Wierski, and Jeff Meyer. Absent were Aaron Kidd and Jim Simon. Meeting was called to order by David Brill, Chair, at 10:33 a.m. Pledge of Allegiance was led by Bruce Wierski. Minutes of the last annual meeting were read by Mark Vabora. Vote passed unanimously. Drawing for door prizes. Todd Hasenbank from Clifton Larson Allen LLP auditors gave financial report. Very good year for ProVision Partners Co-op. David Brill gave the board chairman's report. Rob Larson, general manager, gave the manager's report. Rob Larson recognized employees, board, patrons. Each division of the cooperative was reviewed. Patronage and member investment in ESP were explained. Election of director results running unopposed was Steve Sternweiss, Tony Lean, Jeff Meyer, and Harvey Peterson, all reelected by overwhelming votes. Angie Schiller gave a scholarship report and named all the scholarship recipients this past year. There was no old or new business. Question by Ernie Kramer regarding feed mill to be built at our Hickston location was explained. Motion to adjourn by Brian Forrest and seconded by Alan Kraus. Respectfully submitted, Mark Vabora, Secretary Treasurer.
Now I'd entertain a motion to accept the minutes as read. So moved. We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? The ayes carry the motion. Thank you. And now we're going to have our auditor, Todd Hasenbeck, CPA of Clifton Anderson LLP, come up forward and give us their audit report.
Thank you. Just a few comments before I get into the numbers. It's going to be brief. You picked up the sheet when you came in. I'll highlight some items in there. I will stick around after the meeting, so if you have questions, specific questions, feel free to come up and I can answer those as well. First and foremost, I just want to congratulate the board, management, employees, and you, the patrons, for another outstanding financial performance, again, by the co-op. You're going to see that in the numbers. Just a few general trends we're seeing in the co-op industry. My firm, we serve between 150, 200 co-ops throughout the country. And we can see some general trends which are being kind of guided by two things, inflation and interest rates. The balance sheet of impacts that we're seeing from inflation and interest rates, more inventory on the balance sheets than a year ago. Cost to fill the bins is much higher at the end of 22 than it was at the end of 21. More receivables as well. The selling prices drive the receivables up. And then thirdly, more short-term debt on the balance sheet. As you finance the inventories, et cetera, whether that's line of credits or trade accounts payable. Income statement impacts from the inflation and interest rates. We're seeing total sales up substantially. We can all feel what the selling price, either at the pumps, fertilizer, chemicals, throughout the year. Total operating expenses are up from inflation. Wages are up substantially, as well as operating costs to run the co-op's fleets. And then we're seeing interest costs up as well. On the back page, you can see just a synopsis of the results of the co-op for 2022 compared to 2021. I'm not going to read them to you, but you can tell down at the bottom, local net savings of just under 14 million, up from 11.5 million last year. Again, that's 5% of sales, far outpacing what many of the co-ops that we serve throughout the country. And then I'll point out down at the bottom your ownership ratio, that's 73%. Basically, that signifies how strong your balance sheet is. That tells the reader of the statement that you, the patrons, own 73% of the co-op, of those 150 million in total assets. Again, your balance sheet is really strong. It shows and follows those general trends that I went through. You can see your trade receivables, inventories up from a year ago, payables, as we mentioned in the balance sheet. Your sales were up 72 million over 2021. And then you can see the increase in operating expenses as well. So hats off. Congratulate all of you on a very successful year. Again, I'll be sticking around if you have questions at that point.
Thank you, Todd. Well, since it's Valentine's, I thought I'd tell you a story I'd heard about one of the world's greatest couples, Ole and Lena. So they were having a fight one morning, and Ole was getting ready for work, and they were shouting zingers back and forth, and Ole thought he'd get the best of it, and he was walking out the door, and he turned around before he slammed the door, and he says, "Another thing, you're not very good in bed." And off to work he went, giggling to himself, thought he had the best of it. And then about halfway in through the morning, he got feeling kind of bad. Got thinking about what he said, and he decided at dinner time he's going to call Lena and apologize. So at dinner time, he calls Lena, and the phone rings, and the phone rings, the phone rings, and Lena doesn't answer the phone. Finally, she comes to the phone, and she's all out of breath, and, "Lena, where were you? What's the matter?" "Well, Ole, you know what you said to me this morning? I thought I'd get a second opinion." So now we're going to turn the meeting over to Bob Bauer, our capital management report.
I've been asked today to try to explain a little bit of our capital management plan that's in place by ProVision Partners Cooperative. Just a quick reminder that as a cooperative, when we are profitable, the cooperative returns its profit in the form of patronage to all of its member owners. The cooperative has been profitable for the past few decades and has made these distributions in the form of patronage both in cash and in equities. The capital management plan not only explains how the patronage will be issued, but it also discusses how we will manage the equities that were issued in prior years, some of them many years ago. The 2023 Capital Management Plan was approved by the Board of Directors December 16th of 2022. And this is kind of the path or the guidelines that I follow, as well as the cooperative, in processing and the various activities that occur dealing with equities and patronage throughout 2023. It states that the eligible earnings for 2023 that we will accumulate and know September 30th of 2023 will be issued through patronage on December 15th, and that the equity portion of this patronage will be non-qualified equity. This type of stock is issued in the patron's name and is registered and is included in their name, but it is not taxable to them at the time of issuance. It only becomes taxable to them at the time that is paid to them in cash at a future date. Furthermore, the estates that are presented to the board throughout the year will be approved at their normal monthly board meetings. Once they're approved, the payments occur a few days afterwards. However, those estates will only be paid out for their qualified equity. So that would be equity that was issued by the cooperatives, any of the prior cooperatives, previous to the year 2019. From 2019 and forward, we have been issuing non-qualified equity. Third, the age retirements will continue for the members reaching their 75th birthday. This again will be for stock that was issued by any of the legacy portions of ProVision Partners Cooperative and Federation Cooperative. These are paid monthly following the month that you turn 75. There is no action necessary by the patron. There's no request needed. The only thing that would be needed, of course, is your date of birth. If we don't have your date of birth, you won't receive a check the following month. So what we would ask is that you contact the office. We can update your records. The following month, you will receive your check. Again, that would be the retirement of qualified equities only. The capital management plan further defines the ability for the cooperative to use the outstanding equity to offset or set off any bad debts or uncollectible accounts for member owners, patrons that have become delinquent or far past due in our credit policy. Again, this is reviewed by the board and approved if any set-offs would be required. It also discusses minimal stock balances and minimum check amounts to be issued. This slide is just a quick recap, and it's also included on the handout that should be at the tables and available to you with the financial recap on the back. ProVision Partners has paid out nearly $22.7 million since 2015. 2015 would be the measurement date between the merger of Central Wisconsin Cooperative and Harmony Country Cooperatives that form ProVision Partners as it stands today. For 2022 fiscal year income, the distribution to members was on December 15th of 2022. It was at a rate of 3.48%. This total, including cash and equity, was over $5.8 million. 55% of it was in cash, and it totaled $3.2 million. The remaining 45% was non-qualified equity. This actually reached almost 6,200 customer owners, and it was in 260 communities across the state of Wisconsin. For the calendar year 2022, your cooperative also retired qualified equities that totaled more than $1 million. This included estate payments of just over $100,000, age retirement payments totaling $275,000, and in February of 2022, retirements of aged stock totaled $646,000. Again, this is affecting over 3,100 customers during the year. As always, we are proud to be an employee of your cooperative, serving you in a profitable manner and a partner to you now and in the future. I unfortunately cannot take questions now during the meeting, but I will be around after the meeting, during the meal, and of course, any of our main offices, administrative offices, you can call and contact if there are questions now, in the future, and as we move forward, please do not hesitate to let us know. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. You know, Bob is our CFO, but he got his start in the banking business. But it was short-lived. The first day of work, the older gentleman came in, and you probably heard this before. The older gentleman came in and says, "Say, could you check my balance?" And Bob says, "Oh, that'll be easy." And Bob proceeded to knock the man down to the floor. So, okay, I'm going to give the chairman's report now, and I want to talk to you about the merger at hand that we're hearing rumors about. And now that I've got the pulpit and the crowd here, I was going to give a few talk to you about the merger. But first, I want to thank all of you for coming today. And I want to thank all of our customers who support our co-op. Second, I want to thank Rob Larson and our administration staff and all of our employees who take care of the business day to day, keeping our co-op running smooth. I want to thank my fellow board members. Our meetings are always well attended and full of good discussion. So on to the merger. Now, ProVision was started in 2015, and when Harmony and CWC merged, both co-ops were financially strong and could have continued on their own. Instead, we merged. What we were able to achieve exceeded our expectations. I feel the merger opportunity in front of us today is much the same. In fact, I would say it is the same, but on steroids. Both co-ops are that much larger, and both are very financially strong. I know merging is synonymous with change, and change makes some people uneasy. You've all heard the phrase, "he or she is stuck in their ways and will never change." Winston Churchill once said, "To improve is to change. To be perfect is to change often." I know we're not going to become perfect, but I do know that we have merged several times, and each time the co-op has improved. The board has been studying this merger for quite some time, and I'd like to highlight a few of our findings. Each co-op brings unique strengths and opportunities to the table. We are strong in feed, and Allied is strong in agronomy. Together we can share assets and reduce duplication of service provider purchases. We can umbrella our computer programs under one company, and the technological applications that apply in the agronomy and the fuel and the feed divisions can also be purchased once instead of both companies buying their own. Combining our profit increases our ability to pursue new opportunities that may become available. There's sometimes good opportunities come our way, but it's just too steep of a purchase price to take on. But the opportunities that it would provide are very lucrative. This may open the door a little better for those types of occasions. It also will more easily allow us to manage equity redemptions in the future. Last, and I want to mention this, and this may be the most important reason in today's world, especially more than ever. We all know that there's an issue all over with hiring people and labor shortages, and this would allow us to attract and keep talented employees in a company that can offer advancement and career opportunities that simply would not be there if we remain as we are. This in turn will allow the co-op to provide you better service. Remember, after all, that's the reason for the co-op's existence, is to serve you, the customer. I would like to leave you with a quote from John D. Rockefeller, who said, "Don't be afraid to give up the good for the great." And a little housekeeping in to relieve some questions you may have is the board representation will be equal. You'll be receiving information packets in the mail, and there will be information meetings in March, and the vote will take place at the end of March. So we'll have equal board representation, and Rob will also become the manager of the new co-op. We, the board, believe it is in our co-op's best interest to merge, and ask that you will vote yes for the merger. Thank you. And now I'm going to turn it over to our general manager, Rob Larson, to give the general manager's report.
Well, I don't think I've ever done this before, but I'll give you a little family history. I've been married 31 years to my wife, Vicki. We have 3 children, 30, 26, and 20, 3 grandchildren. We reside in Fairchild, Wisconsin. Tell you a little bit about our homestead. Our house, part of our house is from 1863. I believe in that area we have the oldest house. So we're pretty proud of our homestead, our farm. We farm 20 acres. I know I'm not very large in farming or production agriculture, but that's a little bit background of myself. I've never mentioned it before, and I thought at this meeting I would do that. Another thing, I want to thank all of you attending today. I know the past 3 years, it's been a challenge with the pandemic, the COVID. This is our really first meeting we've had. It's been well attended. We used to have annual meetings that were attended by almost 300 people. This meeting here, we have over 100. So it's getting back somewhat a little bit normalcy, but I don't know if we'll ever have attendance like we used to. So I want to thank every one of you for attending today, and it's appreciated. I got quite a bit to cover today because we've really missed out on a few years, so I will do my best here today. So first of all, I would like to thank everyone for attending our 2023 annual membership meeting. We will be reporting on our 2022 fiscal year that ended September 30th of 2022. Most importantly, to our valued member owners and customers, we thank you for your patronage and partnership. We value the trust and confidence you put in your cooperative and sincerely appreciate you. We look forward to serving you today and into the future. That's our jobs. We don't need a pat on the back. We just got to work hard for you. We're not perfect, like David said. We're far from it. We're always finding ways to improve. And I look in the mirror every single day to make sure that we're looking for improvement for you and to do our jobs even better. Thank you to our board of directors for your commitment and leadership to position your cooperative to be viable and financially strong. Your cooperative success, performance, and positive equity redemption programs reflects on the decisions you make on behalf of our members and our employees. At this time, I would like to acknowledge our employees for another year of outstanding performance and service. I continue to be amazed by how you maintain your performance while taking on additional work and responsibilities. Your talents and skills in serving our customers and the cooperative are second to none. Thank you very much. Your employee group is just unbelievable throughout your whole regions. They're hard workers. They work hard. I love seeing them and just seeing them progress, but they're here for you. And again, a big thank you to our employees, which is your number one asset in your company. Now on to the operational report. Like most years, 2022 wasn't without challenges. Despite challenges of high inflation and labor shortages, we continue to operate efficiently and attract the talent necessary to serve you, our members. All of our divisions performed well and had exceptional bottom line. It kind of all came together this year in all departments. Markets worked in our favor. Everything just kind of fell our way this year, and it proved we had our largest local bottom line ever, our local percentage. Again, it's a hard year to beat, but again, it takes a partnership with us and you to achieve what we did this past year. A little bit on operations efficiencies are driven by multiple factors. It starts with a talented staff, and we really concentrate on the administration cost savings, cost control measurements, asset management, and reinvestments in facilities, equipment, and rolling stock. All of these contribute to lowering your overall expenses to operate on a lower margins, in which drives profitability. We didn't really have any property sales in 2022 fiscal year, but the start of this year, we had a sizable sale. Just want to mention, asset management is important to your board and management. Annually, we conduct a valuation process for replacing, upgrading, and disposing of our assets. And again, I want to report there's no property sales in 2022 fiscal year, but we did have a sizable one in this first quarter. Early October, the Perkins Restaurant, located on I-94 in Black River Falls. As I mentioned, early in 2022, we sold the Perkins Restaurant location to the Huddle House Group. They're based out of New Jersey for $885,000. The Perkins trademark remains. Just a piece of history. Perkins was part of the Federation Cooperative that we partnered with in 2019. We actually own the building and real estate and leased it to the Perkins franchise company. A few years ago, we were notified Perkins filed bankruptcy and the Huddle House purchased 75 of the 120 stores through the United States bankruptcy court. We were fortunate that our store was one of the 75 stores that was purchased. So as a board and management, to limit our risk, we approached the Huddle House to see if they were interested in purchasing our restaurant. We thought it was a good business decision to sell the property and reinvest the proceeds in Hickston, where we're constructing a chemical shed and a feed mill. 2022 capital expenditures. We installed a 30,000-gallon propane storage tank at our Granton convenience store. The Hickston feed mill project was launched and construction began in spring of 2022. We completed the Auburndale feed mill expansion. We added a 3-ton mixer and 11 additional loadout bins, 3 for steam flake corn and 8 for feed. The 11 new loadout bins are in addition to the 19 we previously had. This expansion will allow our production to be more efficient as we are now able to utilize both mixers in a back and forth pattern. While one is mixing, we are sending feed to the other. This should minimize loading wait times because the feed ingredients will already be in the loadout bins ready for the trucks to come back to load up. The Auburndale West grain site upgrade was designed to increase the efficiencies of unloading grain, receiving grain, and grain storage. Another capital expenditure was at the Auburndale grain site. We needed to speed up some unloading time, so we added a second receiving pit to increase truck flow. Administration office. As you know, we're located just a little bit north of Marshfield on Highway 13. Back in 2015, we had a convenience store there. If you don't recall, we had a frontage road that came in. It just kind of destroyed our convenience store business there. So we tried multiple things through that convenience store. But today, back then, we remodeled it for a few $100,000 and created our administration office for ProVision Partners Cooperative. With sales and growth increasing, we had outgrown the original administration office in Marshfield, so we added a 1,600 square foot addition to the north for additional office and storage space, which allowed our IT staff to transfer from the Arpin location. Eventually, we will sell the Arpin office warehouse, but we'll keep the portion of the property for our 30,000-gallon propane storage tank in Arpin. We totally invested in your office is very minimum. It's about $500,000 we have in our administration office. If you see other co-ops similar to our size, you can see anywhere from $2 to $5 million. We really do watch what we spend in administration, what we do. We don't need any fancy ivory tower for an office. That office has served its purpose and it's done a good job. So it was time to invest in that office. We never really had storage there. We used the boardroom for storage, and eventually we did outgrow it. So I just want to explain why we made that investment. Now at our Central Wisconsin country store, we completed our 2,500 square foot warehouse expansion that included a loading dock. We never had a loading dock. You can imagine all that bag stuff coming in. We pull them off to the truck, bring the forklift up and pull them off. Very labor intensive. And we knew with the growth in sales, it was time to make that expansion. So in 1996, little history, when we were merged at CWC between Stratford and Marshfield, our sales at that time were $500,000 in sales. Today, we're nearing $2 million in our country store. It's a lot of bag products in and out. The project was completed in October, and please note additional, that was completed in October. Please note, on my last one, additionally, rolling stock is needed every year. And I won't list all the rolling stock we bought, but I want to give you an example. In agronomy, we can spend anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million. Just keep updated on the technology, the equipment, high clearance machines, sprayers, spreaders. It doesn't take much. A couple units are $800,000 today, so that number will probably rise with inflation costs. On to 2023 capital expenditures. Again, the Hickson Mill construction and completion, estimated completion is in March 2024. Again, I will talk about this a little bit later in detail. We're adding additional chemical shed storage in Hickson. It's 50 by 80 building. Completion expected this March and ready for the spring season. On one side, all bulk chemicals will be stored, and on the other side, it will be used for mini bulk containers. The center will be for loading and unloading. The previous warehouse was built in the 1980s and probably wasn't really up to code to the standards that we have to follow today. And it limited both for growth and efficiencies. We'll repurpose for that building and that pad for all our liquid nitrogen and starter products, with addition of two 15,000-gallon storage tanks. The new warehouse will be large enough to store some of our high clearance machines for the off season, especially when we hit fall and winter until we hit the spring season again. Auburndale West Grain site expansion. The board a couple months ago just approved a 260,000 bushel grain bin. They'll be ready for the 2023 harvest. Auburndale grain, we have to speed up the receiving time, so we're adding 2 load-out bins with a conveyor to create a third line for loading out corn and beans. This will allow us to receive and load out grain at the same time. This should and will improve receiving grain during the harvest. As you know, last year's harvest came fast and furious, and it put a lot of you in lines and probably not very pleased and happy, and we weren't either, but our staff is doing the best they can. So every year we evaluate what can we do better and how can we be better to serve you. So these are a couple things in the grain side that we know that will help immensely. We also just purchased a convenience store located in Augusta, Wisconsin. We'll be doing a completely new construction along with new tanks and pumps and canopy. The location will be rebranded Cenix. Your convenience store division continues to do very well. All that consumer business helps out our aid customers with equity redemption, cash patronage programs. So it's very, very important we continue to grow our consumer business. And this is one way of doing it. At our Black Creek convenience store, which is part of Scenic Valley Co-op merger, we'll be doing an in-store updates on that store also. Again, additional rolling stock and equipment will be purchased throughout this year. I'll run through these slides pretty quick. Earnings comparisons back in 2015 when you merge, April 1, we were just a little bit over 3%. You can see it's been very consistent over the years. And yes, 2020, 21, and 22, we were raised in our local average. So if you take an 8-year local net average, we're at 3.7% local. That is of operations. That doesn't include your ESP company, Energy Solution Partners, or regional patronage. That's from local operations. Accounts receivables. Todd did mention that with the rising commodity prices, sales, there's some challenges out there. Your cooperative, I'll say, we don't have challenges in accounts receivables. We have a great credit team, management, employees all work together, but thank you to all of you. That's what makes a difference in our company. If you can see, over 90 days and over, that's our aging, $257,000. It's been remarkable, and I thank every one of you for helping us out on receivables. It doesn't do us any good to get behind on bills. There's never a winner. Goes into collection, and the customer gets upset, we get upset. It just doesn't do us any good, so we really try to do our best. But we will work with you. If something should happen, if you need some help, we're here for you. We have multiple producer financing programs, John Deere Financial, CHS Capital, CFA. We're secured by Winfield, local banks, vendor financing programs. We're here to help you out in the good times or the bad times, but I can tell you our history as ProVisions, we're even on bad debt collection and write-offs, and that is unheard of. Almost every cooperative I know have had sizable write-offs. You're one co-op that doesn't. But again, it's because of you and our team of employees working together. I want to thank you very much for that. It means the world to your board and myself and your staff. We proudly support the communities we serve with many donations throughout the year. For the fiscal year of 2022, your company donated $90,000. Many of the donations are to support a range of things from fairs, dairy breakfasts, to school programs, to show our continued support for safety and agriculture. Each year, nearly half of our donations are given to local FFAs, fire departments, and food pantries. For these donations, we also request matching funds from Land O'Lakes, which doubles the donations for these organizations to receive. Sales comparison, yes, a lot has changed here. 2016 was our first full year as ProVision partners. We're at 102 million, and today we're at 274 million. Just remember, we've had a few partnerships, between 2016 and 2022. In 2019, we had the Federation merger, and in 2020, December, we had a feed partnership with Allied Cooperative, and then recently, January 1st in 2022, we had the Scenic Valley Cooperative merger. And then, of course, at 274, I have to realize we had higher commodity prices. But you can see the chart. We kind of jumped up the last 3-4 years here. It's due to those reasons. But we've had also experienced a lot of organic growth, too. Sales by departments, feed and grain, 45%. Agronomy, 16% of your sales. C-stores, 20%. Propane, 5%. Bulk fuels, 12%. And retails, 2%. I'd like to talk a little bit about our administration. We have a very efficient team that works together and processes a high amount of work daily. Our professional staff works out of multiple offices. We have our central office in Marshfield and a regional office in Hickston. We have locations throughout the region where we staff our administration office. It could be feed mills, offices, administration offices, energy, but we have them staffed throughout our region. We would like to acknowledge and compliment our staff for the work they do. Here's an example. After the Scenic Valley Partnership, our staff utilized our human resources and technology to lower the administration cost in that region, which saved around $200,000. Again, a big thank you to our administration staff. They processed a lot in a month's time. Feed division. I'll kind of go through these quick. Sales of $100 million. Sold or processed feed, 210,000 tons. We supply feed to 80,000 cows. Total calves and milk powder, 45,000. And total calves and heifers on feed, 75,000. Grain division, sales of $30 million. Storage capacity of 5.3 million bushels. Drying revenue of $965,000. Storage revenue of $777,000. Agronomy division had its best year ever here, and so did our grain and feed. They all did. But agronomy, $46 million in sales. Custom application acres at 180,000. Seed corn sold 17,000 bags. Soybean seed sold 29,000 bags. Total plant food 43,000 tons. Job well done. Energy division, bulk fuels, 9 million gallons were delivered out between transport and delivery wagons deliveries. 9 million gallons. Energy division, again with propane, gallons delivered, 7.2 million gallons. New tank sets net, that's tanks picked up and delivered. We netted 157 tanks to the good, and total gallon storage throughout our trade area is 442,000. We were up roughly about 500,000 gallons this past year. C-stores, gallons pumped through our 11 C-stores, 10.2 million gallons. Inside store sales, 16.6 million. Since the pandemic and some things that Quick Trip did, pay at the pumps and things like that, our sales continue to increase inside at our convenience stores. Gas, diesel, pretty stagnant. That will continue with all the new technology coming out. With battery-operated cars and everything else, it's going to be very difficult to grow that. So we really have to concentrate in our inside store sales. But your C-store division has performed very well. 11 stores in Auburndale, Black Creek, Black River Falls, Colby, Fairchild, Hickston, Granton, Maryland, Northfield, Pittsfield, Stratford, and now we'll have another one in operation in Augusta. That project could be 6 to 9 months until we finish it and complete it. Retail division. Yeah, yes, it is our smaller division, but still it's $4.2 million in sales, 5 country stores, Marshfield, Manitowoc, Hickston, Luxembourg, and Seymour. Two bag retail feed stores, Unity in Chile, 1 tire service center in Stratford, and a lawn care service in Marshfield. All locations perform well and contribute to the bottom line. And the one on the bottom, I just want to spend a little bit of time, our lawn care service. We have revenue about $250,000, but your bottom line is very, very good. It's a lot of work, a lot of lawn supply, but I compliment the staff in that service. It's not an easy one. We depend on part-time help. Maybe you don't know much about it, but we apply fertilizer and nutrients to your lawns, and we do spraying. We do all of that, and it's quite a business for us, and it contributes to your bottom line very well. There's another good example. What can help on that consumer side contributes to your ag side, and it helps fund a lot of your projects. If you don't know what Energy Solution Partners is, it's based out of Toma. It's managed, and their manager and CEO is Pat Doyle. He does an unbelievable job for ESP. David and myself serve on the board, and I'm the board chair for ESP. We're very proud of this company. As you see the slides, you got to shake your head. It's almost unbelievable. Initial investment was $30,000 by 3 cooperatives. Today we have 5 cooperatives that create the ownership of ESP. Allied Cooperative, the one we're in partnership discussions, and they have 30%. ProVision Partners has 30%. Synergy Cooperative has 30%, and plus we have 2 cooperatives, Ag Plus and Central Counties Cooperative in Minnesota, that own 5% each. They brought in about 11 million gallons a few years ago, and it was a good partnership because we've expanded into Minnesota now. Sales in 2022 were $364 million compared to $224 million, a lot to do with the high inflated prices. Gallons were 107 million gallons compared to 99 million gallons. Local earnings of $2.5 million compared to $2.1 million. We received just a little bit of patronage from CHS. CHS did not perform as well last year compared to this year, so we got a little bit from CHS. Cash to members, $2.1 million. So 30% or a little bit above that, your company received from ESP Partners. It's just an outstanding investment your cooperative made back in 2006. That was Harmony Co-op. Again, I mentioned the initial co-op investment of $30,000. These are some fun facts. Your equity in that company, total equity is $39 million. $21 million has been dispersed throughout to mainly the 3 cooperatives. They got more ownership in it. $21 million since 2006. We still have some equity in CHS equity at $469,000, but total gain on investment from that $30,000, really, Dave, $10,000 from your co-op back in 2006, $61 million. This helps your company so much with cash flow. This year, this fiscal year alone, we're expecting to receive about $1.9 million from ESP, your company is. You need to know that. It's just been fantastic for cash flow, buying equipment, passing it on to you, and strong equity management programs, all that stuff. It all helps our cooperative. But this is quite a story, David, what you and your board decided on back in 2006. Again, our ownership of dollars that's in ESP that we have today that we expect to have a return someday is about $13 million, and so is Allied. So if Allied and us did partner, we would have 60% ownership of ESP. And we have about $26 million in that company that will eventually receive, as the regional retires equity will receive that money. Big portion of the cash we're receiving from ESP is the cash patronage in this fiscal year. It's because of the performance of CHS. I just mentioned CHS did not perform as well last year. This year, they're performing so well that we're going to expect so much more money through the cash patronage and equity redemptions from Land O'Lakes and regional and ESP. This year alone, in this fiscal year, the one currently we're in, not last, but one we're reporting on, your company will receive over $5 million because of their performance. That's the power of the cooperative system when it's working. So on the local level, we've been performing. Now on the regional level, they're performing at a high level. I just want to mention that to membership. That's a big story to tell. 5 million plus, we're probably expecting close to $5.5 million this fiscal year, during this fiscal year. Scenic Valley Cooperative. It's been almost a year since our partnership with Scenic Valley Cooperative. We're pleased to inform you the customer retention was very high, and their region performed very well financially while delivering exceptional customer service. This merger has strengthened our balance sheet. This is a good example of a merger. I know it seems a little bit further away, but it brought some good feed sales for us, and it brought about total $15 million worth of sales and $3 million worth of agent account business through Prina that we get a commission from. But again, we lowered the administration cost. It produced a nice bottom line for your company and contributed. Hickston feed mill updates. Update, I should say. Construction of our Hickston feed mill was launched in spring of 2022, as I mentioned earlier, and will continue through the spring of 2024 when we're looking at a completion of that mill. The new mill will have 32 product bins, 12 loadout bins, processing equipment, repeat automation software technology, 3-ton all-purpose mixer, along with a separate calf feed blender of 2-ton mixer, and with surge hoppers. Receiving system is designed for 5,000 bushels an hour for commodities, which is about 12 minutes per semi, and we have a 75 square foot warehouse and a small office for that location. Manufacturing capabilities around 110,000 tons annually for finished feed. The new mill has been designed to accommodate future expansion. So was your Auburndale. So we just recently completed the Auburndale expansion. We had that mill also for future expansion, and it helps the cost out when you do expand. The Hickston mill will serve our western region between Auburndale, Hickston, and Seymour feed mills. We'll be able to do most of our feed manufacturing. Yes, we'll do some at West Salem yet. Yes, we'll continue some business at the Stratford feed mill, but the main three will be the Auburndale, Hickston, and Seymour feed mills. This project will cost approximately $6 million, and since the project is over the course of 2 fiscal years, maybe you could even say 2.5 fiscal years, we'll be able to pay for the entire project through cash flow with no financing needed in addition. We'll be able to receive bonus depreciation for income tax savings of $1 million once the mill is put into service. Financial facts, I thought I'd throw this up here, then and now. In 2016, first full fiscal year with provisions, we're $102 million. Today we're at $274 million. Local net earnings, we're at $4 million. Today we're at $14 million this past year. Net worth of your company. This is your company. We went from $51 million to $109 million. Give you an example, your allocated equity is about $24 million we owe you. Your value of your company is $109 million. You will receive your equity from this company. But we got to keep the momentum going, continue to strengthen your company, but that is quite an accomplishment for your company, going from $51 million to $109 million net worth. Like Todd mentioned earlier, 73% total ownership, giving an average out there is about 55% for other cooperatives. Again, Bob mentioned this total cash return through 2022, over $22 million we have returned back to the members. Your board of directors, management, we love to give you money back and we feel good about it. As we can continue to do that, we will continue to do that as fast as we can to speed up maybe equity retirement and everything else. So the partnership with Allied began in 2020 with a feed partnership in which we released their West Salem feed mill. We purchased their rolling stock and retained their feed employees. This feed partnership was successful in many ways. This led in additional discussions of a possible full partnership dated back in 2021 and continued until both boards decided to move forward with a possible merger and now with a membership vote. Allied Cooperative Overview. Retail bag feed. They have Arcadia, Mauston, Medoro, Toma with locations for bag feed. Overview of their grain: Adams, Blair, Mauston, Toma, West Salem, and Wisconsin Rapids. Agronomy: Adams, Arcadia, Galesville, Mauston, Plover, Toma, West Salem. Retail: Adams, they have a Senex Napa Auto Parts store, Mauston Napa Auto Parts store and a tire shop, Mindoro Country Store in Toma, and West Salem Ace Hardware. And plus, again, they have a feed mill in West Salem that we lease for our feed division. Their mission and vision and mission statements are very similar to ours. I won't read through these, but they are very similar to our beliefs. Driving forces. Dave did bring up some of these. Talent, more diversity, each have different strengths. Cooperatives around us are consolidating. Position for additional growth, reduce asset duplication, capital for infrastructure growth opportunities. Philosophy of each cooperative is similar. And then plus our ownership in Energy Solution Partners, if the merger did go through, would be 60%. Items we've examined in the past year and a half here: overall cooperative performance, 3-year histories; business unit performance, 3-year histories; efficiency studies in agronomy and energy; updated financial study with auditor's opinion, that would be CLA; name change and branding costs. I would like to just touch base on that a little bit. We always think with mergers there's so much expense in branding and branding and in advertising. But every so often, we're in our 8th year's ProVision, we have to go through and rebrand our trucks, our vehicles, our locations, propane tanks, and it just comes up. So sometimes we think in a merger that's a big expense, and it is. But it's good to get something refreshed. Will there be a new name? Yes, all likely there will be a new name if the merger goes through, and we'll have to rebrand. And it's expensive, we know that. We do it over a course of a couple years, but the faster we rebrand, the better off we are. But no matter what, we got branding costs every year. In the next couple years, we're gonna have to rebrand many of our trucks and locations anyway. Bylaw similarities and differences, we went through all those. Equity, allocated amounts, redemption comparison, and future outline using historical information. Board size and geography, Dave mentioned on that, it will be equal board representation. And administration office and decentralized offices. So we'll continue to do what we've been doing. One's got to be named the main office, but we all work together with technology today. All of us work together with the miles in between, and it works very well with the software that we have today. Findings: improved earnings of $2 million. We're very cautious on this and conservative of this. So if you have $2 million, it will take a couple years to get to that. Just remember, branding costs could be $200,000-$300,000, but your savings would cover that, you can see. Stronger equity management. By combining our organizations, we feel that we can better manage, enhance, and safeguard equity redemptions to our membership. Diversify the businesses. Each organization brings unique strengths and opportunities to the table. Asset investments and productivity. Our organization will be able to better utilize assets, rolling stocks, facilities in a more efficient way by working together rather than individually, which results in the elimination of duplicated assets and ultimately reduces operational costs. Marketplace momentum and opportunity. Access to key partnerships and product supply chains that are created directly from size and scale, including new markets for grain and commodity products that otherwise wouldn't be available. Keep and attract talent. Again, Dave mentioned this. We believe the opportunities in a combined company would provide opportunity for employees, resulting in a more consistent value-added customer service. Findings, we went through most of this. I'll just kind of go through this slide here pretty quick. Agronomy, CNC, purchasing power will maximize those programs out, and we'll have better buying power. Feed, we have state-of-the-art manufacturing facilities as we do in agronomy and nutrition consulting expertise. And energy, we're very similar in energy. We're in energy, like I'll give you an example of propane. We're 7 million, they're 7 million, now we become about 14 to 15 million. We're able to buy million-gallon contracts, which can add a penny or two savings. So them are some of the benefits like in the energy. And that would same way with bulk fuels. Membership informational meetings, we're scheduled for March 15th, 10 o'clock here at the Eagles Club. We ask you for your attendance if you could, please. We would appreciate it. It'll probably go from about 10 to noon, And on the same day, we'll have informational meeting at 3 o'clock p.m. Gives us enough time to drive to Black River Falls, and that will be held at the Skyline Golf Course. What we'll cover will be financial projections for the new cooperative, cost benefits attributed to the merger, overview of each cooperative's assets, and voting protocols and Q&A discussion. Allied's date will be, for their information, will be on March 14th, the day before, at 10 o'clock at the Adams Community Center in Adams, Wisconsin. And then March 14th, 3 o'clock at Stony Creek Hotel in Onalaska. I'd like to close and thank each and every one of you for our partnership. Without you, we don't have a company. Again, we do know we have to improve and continue to work hard for you. Again, we thought we experienced a lot of change the last 10 years. We believe it's only going to change even faster in the next few years. With rising inflation and distribution expenses, along with technology and staffing requirements, it will be a challenge, but your cooperative is positioned financially and blessed with great employees to navigate through these changing times. Currently, we have over 40 consultants and customer service reps in agronomy, feed, companion animal, energy, and risk management services to serve all size operations. Again, we don't care what size it is. We want to make sure we have enough people to take care of you. If it's a 25-cow dairy, if it's a 2,000-cow dairy, we want to be out there helping you out. So please contact us if you need anything in those areas. Must continue to invest in talent and technology as we move forward, to be on the forefront, and need to challenge ourselves to explore and seek value-added programs and services that will enhance your business operations. If we supply you with agronomy, energy, or livestock nutrition or retail, it all comes back to achieving our number one goal, to obtain the products and services and knowledge you need to improve your operations. Again, thank you and your families for your business partnership and support. And as always, be safe wherever you're at. If it's on your farm, driving, back home, please be safe. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Rob. Excellent report. You know, there's a little disclosure about that ESP. We always joke about it in the boardroom. If only that day we would have declined Harmony to become ESP partners, and us board members would have put up the money. How well we'd be sitting. Kind of lost our golden egg that day. So now we're going to have the nominating committee report, and Tony Lean is in charge of that. So I'm going to have Tony come forward.
This year, myself, along with Bruce, you want to raise your hand and be recognized here a little bit, served on the nominating committee. We had 10 board members representing legacy co-ops and spanning the regions as we serve. This year's candidates were David Brill and Mark Verbora, were on here as unopposed. This ballot, the ballot that we received here, or the ballots from the mail, was 191 yes, 17 no, 1 non-valid, and for a total of 209. So David Brill and Mark are going to remain on the board here and be for the next 3-year terms. I would like to thank Ernie and Ethel Kramer for counting of the ballots. And a little birdie has told me that, Ernie, you have a milestone birthday coming up this Saturday of 85 years old. I'd like to give you a round of applause for that and for helping us out here. One more thing I'd like to say is we kind of continue to find it a little difficult to seek board members, and I'd like to, for you, anybody who is interested in being on the ProVision boards and as directors, please contact us board members or Rob to take the time to discuss board policies and requirements. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Well, a little update on the Ole and Lena story. Needless to say, it ended up in divorce court. So the judge was looking over all the literature he had in front of him. Finally, he came to a conclusion. He said, Ole, I've come to my decision. I'm going to give Lena $800 support a month. Which Ole said, gee, that's pretty good of you. And maybe once in a while I'll throw in $1 or $2. So now we're going to have the scholarship committee presented by Angie Schiller.
Each year, ProVision Partners Cooperative offers scholarship to graduating seniors in our trade area. Applicants must be enrolled in a short course program or a 2 to 4 year curriculum in the fall. Applicants are asked to supply general information, why they're interested in their chosen career path, and why they feel cooperatives are important. Applicants are scored on their scholastic achievement, leadership, written essay, and perceived ability to contribute to the future of their chosen career path. In 2022, ProVision Partners awarded 22 high school graduating seniors scholarship as part of their scholarship program. Casey Anderson, daughter of Dustin and Jody Anderson of Mindoro, a graduate from Melrose Mindoro High School, pursuing a degree in global studies at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. Amber Becker, daughter of Daniel and Bernice Becker of Spencer, graduate of Spencer High School, attending the University of Bismarck, North Dakota, pursuing a degree in nursing. Emma Bangert, daughter of Rick and Peggy Bangert of Stratford, graduated from Marshfield High School, attending the University of Wisconsin River Falls to major in dairy science with an emphasis on pre-veterinary medicine. Reese Brock, daughter of Eric and Stacy Brock of Arpin, graduate of Auburndale High School, studying agribusiness with minors in accounting and financial planning at Lakeland College. Kayla Curtis, daughter of Jamie and Tammy Curtis of Medford, graduated from Medford High School, majoring in radio, TV, film, and minoring in journalism at the University of Wisconsin, Oshkosh. Desiree Eisenbrenner, daughter of Curtis and April Eisenbrenner of Fairchild, a graduate of Osseo Fairchild High School, attending the University of Wisconsin Eau Claire to study elementary education. Aaron Duclos, son of Chris and Monica Duclos of Abbotsford, graduated Abbotsford High School, attending the University of Wisconsin-Madison's Farm and Industry Short Course Program. Kaylee Ferfecki, daughter of Kurt and Susan Ferfecki of Cecile, a graduate of Pulaski High School, attending Northeast Iowa Community College to study animal husbandry. Kelly Ernest, daughter of Todd and Cindy Ernest of Whitehall, a graduate from Whitehall Memorial High School, studying pre-law at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Abigail Hovland, daughter of Adam and Katie Hovland of Colby, graduated from Abbotsford High School, attending the University of Wisconsin River Falls, studying pre-veterinary medicine. Devani Hinkleman, the daughter of Harlan and Melissa Hinkleman of Loyal, a graduate of Loyal High School, studying agriculture marketing at the University of Wisconsin River Falls. Caitlin Ketchum, daughter of Michael and Mary Ketchum from Altura, Minnesota, a graduate from Lewiston Altura High School, majoring in agriculture education and minoring at dairy science at the University of Wisconsin River Falls. Carly Kibble, daughter of Ernie Kibble Jr. and Carrie Haas of Spencer, graduated from Spencer High School and attending Chippewa Valley Technical College studying nursing. Grace Kling, daughter of Nathan and Karen Kling of Taylor, graduate from Blair Taylor High School, attending the University of Wisconsin-Madison studying agriculture education or animal science. Leah Kidd, daughter of Aaron and Gwen Kidd of Blair, graduate of Blair Taylor High School, majoring in elementary education at the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. Cale Klusendorf, son of Ryan and Sherry Klusendorf of Medford, a graduate of Medford High School, studying agriculture at the post-secondary school level. Josie Otto, daughter of Brian and Jody Otto of Millador, graduate of Pacelli Catholic High School, attending North Central Technical College, studying to be a veterinary technician. Nathan Stanek, son of Greg and Jennifer Stanek of Augusta, a graduate of Wildlands Charter School, attending Chippewa Valley College, studying welding fabrication. Adam Potts, son of Neil and Brenda Potts of Marshfield, graduated from Marshfield High School, attending the University of Wisconsin Stout, studying agriculture and mechanical engineering. Emily Sternitsky, daughter of Pat and Lisa Sternitsky of Chile, graduate of Marshfield High School, attending the University of Northwestern St. Paul, pursuing a degree in nursing. Bethany Strauch, daughter of Rick and Wendy Strauch of Fairchild, a graduate of Augusta High School, studying animal nutrition at Chippewa Valley Technical College. Kristen Zidun, daughter of Michael and Marietta Zidun of Marshfield, a graduate of Pittsville High School, attending Mid-State Technical College, majoring in accounting. We not only encourage the students to further their education after high school, but also encourage them to inquire at the cooperative for various internship and employment opportunities. Congratulations to all of the 2022 scholarship recipients, and we are currently accepting applications for the 2023 ProVision Partners Scholarship. All applications are to be postmarked no later than March 31st, 2023. Thank you.
Thank you, Angie. Now, at this time, do we have any old business to be brought up by any of the members? If none, is there any new business? Is there none? If there's none, then is there any questions that we could answer at this time? Now, I'm going to adjourn the meeting, but after that, I'm going to have Steve Sternweiss come forward and give our invocation. If there's nothing else, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. Do we have a motion to adjourn and a second? We have a second, thank you.